That was a rough one, but we managed it. Just barely. But Draco's gonna level up now, and that's always a good thing. Let's see. Active, active, active. Grab yourself Tornado. And we're going to get you up to 22. Good! Level up. I'm a Kiki. Active. You don't even have anything right now, so 19, 20, 12. There. Alright. Good. 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 Pieces of Khan started to roll off him. He went silent as he watched himself fall apart. I return to my brothers. The rock of his face crumbled and his eyes went dark. All that was left of the Alpha Golem was a pile of boulders. Victory! Level ups! Loren! You don't have a scary skill point. There we go. 33 to 36 strength. Good. Dora leveled up. You don't have any skill points, so... skill, will, strength. A little bit of strength. Karen leveled up. 15. 26, 27, 28. Hey. Ray. Skill. 1, 2, 3. And he does have a skill point. Okay. And then, headshot. Shamara leveled up. Awesome. Will. 1, 2, 3. Skill point left. 1. Oh. Let's go with Death Trap level 1. Yeah. Alright. Sauser. What do you got, Sauser? You got Riposte level 3. Okay. 28. 29, 30. And I'll bring you up to 32, I guess. There we go. Mesfrit. As things devour. Immolation. Doom Gaze. Is there any passive he has? No. Okay. Let's go with Devour. Works for me. Strength. 1, 2, 3. Aha! Mirth. Hail level 2. Water, air, fire, earth. Okay. Let's give you... Let's give you 3 will points. Apollomesha is level 9. Wow. He is so far behind everybody else right now. Okay. The demons behind him were no longer jeering. As soon as Loren looked at them, they fell out of ranks and tried to flee any which way they could. But Loren was too winded to do anything more. She fell to her knees and tried desperately to regain her breath. Loren, are you all right? Saren was by her side immediately, checking her for mortal wounds. No, I'm well. To be safe, Saren used his healing magic on her, without her permission. She filled with a bright light and her breathing returned to normal. When the spell was over, she looked up at Saren's face, very aware of his arms around her. How about now? She was speechless for a moment. The feeling of dependence was completely new to her. She had always needed to rely on herself alone. Not to mention her complete dismissal of men in general, she had once thought of them as little use in the world where she could take care of herself. You did not need to do that. I said I was well. You're right, but I needed to make sure. Loren swallowed, looking into his eyes, and then quickly stood up and away from him, clearing her mind of any thoughts. The demons have attacked a neutral city, one untouched by the elves or empire.
Yes, it will be most interesting to hear how the council will try to blame this one on the elves.
They can't possibly. They will have to realize that their enemy lives in the Everburn Mountains, not the forest. We must go to Grimoire. I will make sure their actions are swift. The party tended to the city of Hammerhands shortly before leaving for Grimoire. The dwarven leaders were grateful for their service, and assured Ramus that the city would be rebuilt in no time. They also agreed to join the army against the demons, which was extremely welcome. After experiencing the wrath of the demons firsthand, they all feared what else Faust had in store for them. They traveled to Grimoire to confront the council on what transpired in Hammerhands. They omitted the fact that the demons attacked merely to bait Loren, to keep anyone from branding her a threat to the world. It was because she had the sword that the demons wanted her dead, which made it even more important to protect her. After much deliberation, accusations, arguments, and placating, the Council of Grimoire finally came to an agreement that the demons were a stronger enemy than any other, and that they needed to collaborate with the elves to take them down. Through Queen Karen's authority, Loren was now granted use of the Amazon Griffins, so that they could all travel across the world with ease. Chapter 3. Trial by Fire. Welcome to Chapter 3, everybody! Back at the Citadel, Loren was entertaining both the Empire and the Elven generals in the audience chamber. They were fast to disagree on every possible matter. Saren watched as his mistress's glower deepened every time a general would interrupt the other, or scoffed at the other's suggestion, or merely frowned. Despite there being a peace treaty, the two races were far from being at peace with one another. Loren finally had enough. Quiet! All of you! You're both incompetent and know little of war! You're both acting like younglings! Their shocked expressions turned to resentment, and then to guilt. We will win no war like this, not with the two of you in charge.
And what is your solution, if I may ask?
I will lead the army. Both sides will follow my command.
A woman? Ha!
Loren reached for her sword, but in the same moment, Saren leapt up to physically stay her hand. Loren instead just growled.
The council would never let you take charge of its army.
Well, it had better if we want to win anything. Mistress, maybe we shouldn't argue with the general. Loren turned away, upset about her lack of control over the situation. The forest elders are not likely to give you complete control either, unfortunately. She is right, however. We cannot wage war like this, divided in two.
Then we should convince both councils that Loren is a remarkable leader.
That won't be hard.
Actually, it most likely will be.
The stupidity of humans and elves will never cease to astound me. Saren looked at his queen briefly. Did she truly think his kind was stupid? How best do you recommend we convince them to give Loren full command, Archwizard?
Pushing back the demon army would be a good start. Scourges of demons are roaming the land, and dispersing them would likely put a heavy dent in the demons' forces, as well as demonstrating the ability of the one who dispatches them.
Yes, demons have been lingering in the outskirts of Horus, one of the Empire's prized cities. Reports say that they are being led by a corrupted barbarian. He's said to be a fearsome man to behold, but nothing should be too much of a match for our great prospective leader. I will deal with him. Stop the barbarian. Sure. On a related note, Princess, a succubus has been terrorizing the desert and forest. If you slay her, the elves may concede authority to you. So my paths are clear. I must slay 2 demons to take reign over the combined army. Okay.
If that is the way it must be, then we must do it. The whole world is at stake. Loren clenched her fist in determination before exiting the room to prepare. Outside, Brezza ran up to Loren and Karen. This was the first time they had seen her since she was told to scout the castle of Namar. "My queen!" She panted and almost collapsed in front of them. "Great moon, what is the trouble?" "Namar! Vampires!" "So vampires have taken over the castle once again." "My scouts! They've taken them! I was the only one who escaped!" "How many?" "I rode with 8 subordinates, Majesty. I saw one killed right before me, and the others will be too." "That cannot happen. Loren?" "Yes, we will travel there as soon as possible."
"Save the scouts!"
"You're relieved, Brezza. Go home and rest. We will retrieve our Amazons."
The military commander nodded and left. Loren knew she should have intervened sooner. Whoops. I guess that was a fuck up on my part, maybe. Oh. Loren and Saren were returning to the campsite and taking a route through the woods. Saren's ears perked up at a sound to his side. He filed it in the back of his mind, but continued walking by Loren's side. Not too much further along, he heard the sound again. He paused. He tried to pinpoint where it was coming from, searching the trees as hard as I could. Another sudden sound, and Saren spotted a flash of green skin. A goblin wheeled from around a tree and placed a long tube in its mouth. Saren dove for Loren. Loren yelped as she was tackled to the ground. A dart whizzed dangerously past her, missing her by a hair.
"Saren!"
The goblin in the tree saw that he failed to hit Loren and tried to escape. Saren sprang up from the ground and took off after him. Saren was almost growling as he bounced through the trees, trying to catch up with the filthy goblin that almost assassinated his mistress. Using every trick he had learned, he was able to cut enough corners to reach out and grab the goblin, and they tumbled to the ground. The goblin fought back. Well, I'm gonna have to be in the front row now. Shit. This is not gonna go well in my favor. I can already tell you that. Ha! 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 Da! 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 Ow. I gotta heal. Holy shit. I can't do anything. I'm gonna die. Holy fucking shit, you asshole. Ugh. I can't win. Holy shit, this is not going well. Ah! 28. I guess this is what all these potions were for.
You forfeited your life. Does anyone need healing?
Oh, god damn. Ow! Fuck! That hurt! A lot! I need more goddamn strength! That's what I've just decided! Fuck you all! Saren huffed over the goblin's body, wiping the blood from his cheek. He was proud of the kill, as it was not easy. He made his way through the trees and back to Loren, walking this time as he was exhausted from the chase. Loren was sitting on the ground, holding her arm. There you are! You ran off and left me here! I'm sorry. Saren saw the goblin's dart lodged into the tree trunk behind Loren. He walked up and pulled it out, studying its design. He sniffed it and recoiled. The dart was poisoned. Why are you holding your arm? Is it hurt? Not really. Something grazed my shoulder. It doesn't hurt, but my head... Loren touched her temple and eyes fluttered closed. Saren knew he had to react quickly. Loren, grip your shoulder as hard as you can for me. Why? Saren took a look at his surroundings, quickly evaluating what was at hand. Just do as I ask! Loren grew scared and pinched at the skin above the wound. She watched as Saren frantically run through the brush and pluck leaves from a peculiar plant. Her vision started to double, and her head lowered. How do you feel? Can you still hear me?
I hear you.
Saren fell to Loren's side and gathered her into his arms. He ripped open his water skin and poured water on the wound. Loren's head rolled into Saren's chest as she felt the overwhelming desire to close her eyes and sleep. Stay with me, Loren! Eat this! Saren shook her and placed some herbs he had collected into her mouth. Swallow it! Come on, please! Loren had enough strength in her to comply. She coughed up from the horrible taste. So Saren gripped Loren's shoulder tightly to keep the poison from spreading after Loren's hand dropped to her side. Loren continued to struggle to keep conscious. She was urged to stay awake by Saren's constant beckoning. It felt like years before she could see or hear Saren's voice again, but Loren recovered. Her heartbeat returned to normal, and she even realized she was intimately pressed against Saren. Very unlike any royal princess. Loren sat up, to Saren's elation. You're feeling better. You're okay. Loren took a few more moments to compose herself. She looked over at Saren, now fully aware that he had just saved her life from something. What just happened to me? You were poisoned. I killed the goblin responsible, don't worry. Poisoned? They're sending assassins after me now. But if I was poisoned, how am I still alive? How did you know how to cure me? Goblins are crude, and so are their poisons. Fortunately, I studied lethal substances, so I knew how to treat them, that's all. You studied poisons? I thought you were a harem slave for my mother. Saren's eyes widened. I was a bit more, actually. Saren told Loren about his experience under Breza as an undercover spy. He told her about how he was planted in the harem to root out a slave rebellion, but was kept in service for all matters of espionage and even, in some rare cases, assassinations. Loren's mouth was stuck open listening to his tales. All this time, she had considered Saren a mere concubine and her mother's property. But he was so much more than that, and he had just saved her life. Saren? Loren looked at him curiously. Saren shivered from the look, but not in fear. It was an unexpected pleasure to see an unguarded look from his mistress. She was not looking at him as a servant, or even a subordinate. For a moment, in her eyes, he was completely equal to her. Loren looked down and saw she was still in Saren's lap. She jumped up and brushed herself off, but her head went dizzy from the after effects of the poison. Saren was there to give her a supporting arm. Loren said nothing about the gesture. I think it would be best if you did not tell anyone this happened. I do not want my mother to worry. Yes, ma'am. Loren nodded slowly and made the motions to continue to the campsite. Saren kept a close eye on her, and on the forest, so this would not happen again. Hey!
Hey, this is RPGatWill. I hope you liked this episode of Loren the Amazon Princess. If you want to check out some of my other material, you can click on my channel link below, or you can even subscribe if you'd like. I like to do some silly songs on the side, along with my RPG work. If you want to see some more group-oriented stuff, there's another channel called Gaming Idiots TV that I take part in. That's where we do all our group stuff, so I'll provide a link below if you want to check it out there. See you next time.